Good evening, everyone, and thanks very much for coming in. You're all very welcome. I hope you're all still enjoying the heat. Hope it's not too warm way up. Where you are up here is like 28 degrees today, which is just no real. It's just no right, no normal. But so tonight we are joined by the ladies from Lost Souls Paranormal. We've got Nikki, Gemma, and Rachel. Welcome, ladies.
Hi.
And we have the Ripper man himself, Mr. Mike Covell. Covell. I can never pronounce your second name right.
That sounds fine. The Ripper man sounds a bit ominous.
Tonight we've got Mike. Now, I must warn you that the ladies were out last night for a couple of glasses of wine. And they're a wee bit under the weather. Well, I think Nikki's okay. I think she's the best. She survived the best.
I'm all right. I don't deserve to feel this fresh.
No, you don't. No, you don't. No, you don't.
So, do you know suffer from hangovers, Nikki?
Oh, God, yeah. This was a treat. I usually kind of am knocking on death's door. But no, it was all right this morning. I had to kind of weigh up whether I was still actually drunk when I woke up. And that wasn't why I was hungover, but no, fine.
I used to hate that, in my drinking days. Not I was a heavy drinker or anything, but, you go to bed, you're absolutely hammered, and then you wake up knowing you're still drunk. And then at lunchtime, you start to sober up. And then that's when the hangover kicks in when you're at work about 2 or 3 in the afternoon. Then the hangover kind of kicks in, then you think, this is all right. I should have felt like this morning, and it just knocks your clock right off, basically. So who was the worst out of the three of you?
I think it's probably me. Because Nikki drinks quite a lot anyway. She's a bit of a lush. Gemma's Scottish, so can handle liquor. I don't drink very much at all, so it's hit me the worst. I thought my ancestors were coming from this morning. I thought they were having a stroke. I couldn't breathe. I couldn't move. My head was about to explode. So I went back to bed and got up at 12:30 and felt cracking. And then I was like, oh, damn it, we've got to go do a live soon. So I've stuck some war paint on, but inside I'm dying. Dying.
I feel the same.
You look good though, Jimsy.
Well, thank you, Rachel.
Yes, you're all looking smashing, as we say, up in Scotland. Now, I know you three ladies are familiar with Mike.
A little bit.
Yep.
Yeah. Really beautiful. Look how beautiful he is. Love him.
Right, okay.
Thank you.
The compliments are you be a bit of a shape, don't you think? Just a wee bit of the old Gillette on. So how do you Mike? How did you not get together? But you know what I mean. How did you become? How did you? I'm on fire the night birds.
I think I started following the girls. I think I started following Lost Souls and watching a few of the live broadcasts and stuff like that, and just liked the way that the girls worked. I liked the way that they went to venues and stuff like that and did the research, and I just thought that the way they did it was really professional compared to a lot of the content that you get online. So that was it. I started following them then, and really enjoy their stuff and their videos and like watching their lives and stuff. And I think we made contact after that, and we've been connected for a while now, and we often talk about stuff.
I think that's Penny Morgan who's watching subtitles.
It is.
Talking about you.
Honestly, Penny, I'm really struggling. I've got my AirPods in and I'm like this, listening. What? Okay.
I can't help it. When Penny was on, I think it was last week, Penny was on, and she did amazing. She did warn me prior to going live that she might struggle, but she did amazing. She understood everything I said, so that's why I know tonight she's not talking about me. She's talking about, useful.
I love Penny. Penny's brilliant. She's got the most magnificent chest.
She does.
It's epic. The muscles in that woman's chest. Just embarrass her slightly. Sorry, Pen.
She's going to disappear now.
I don't know how to answer that one, I'm afraid. All I can say is congratulations, Penny.
Cracking. Yeah, cracking. And sorry, Penny, I'm slightly drunk still, so I'm not making much sense.
I think that's the first time a woman's complimented another woman on her pecs on one of her lives. So, thank you for that, Rachel.
I'm here all night.
Can always rely on Ashman.
We're quite laid back and chilled out, and sometimes we'll talk paranormal, other times we'll just talk all the rubbish.
Mainly rubbish.
And then we'll go back to the paranormal side, That's a paranormal chapel. Not seen you for a while, buddy. Hope you're doing fine. It's been about a year since we see Paranormal Chapel. So, Rachel, we never met you the last time.
Pardon?
Sorry. We never met you. Gemma, do you want to translate?
Yeah.
Google Translate, please, Gemma.
You never met me last time on the last live.
No. Unfortunately, I'm a bit of an idiot and I run 2 brownie units. So every time I finish work, so I've just been promoted at work. So really busy at work, then go straight to brownies. So I tend to miss a lot of the live chats. So I haven't been live for a while. This is the reason why, because I talk so much nonsense. But I just can't. I'm struggling to fit things in at the moment. So I need to work on my work-life balance, I think.
Because the last time, I'm going to ask you about the paranormal, don't worry, Rachel, but the last time we were talking about accents, I think Gemma done a good one.
Gemma?
I'm picking up the Scottish a bit more.
The Scottish accent. So I'm going to ask Rachel if she can do one. We'll get a wee thing on our lives, we do it randomly, see if guests can do a Scottish accent. It all started off with Rosie Cardy, and it's carried on since then.
I love Rosie.
She's brilliant at it. Lovely, but she's absolutely fantastic at it. So I'm going to ask you, Rachel, if you could do one.
A Scottish accent. The only thing I can slightly say that's not offensive is, it's better when I'm drunk, but okay, that's as good as it gets.
Everybody says.
Oh, I see you, Jimmy. Why that one? Don't ever ask me to do that again, please.
That was a good one. Mike, have we ever asked you to do one?
Pressure's on now.
It is, isn't it? My little boy does accents. I don't know where he is. He does a Cockney accent. He once went into school and asked his head teacher how his that was it. What, William? What did you say to your head teacher? He started talking about his whistle and float, and it was talking like like someone out of Charles Dickens and stuff like that. And then he came home and started doing a Scottish accent. And what do you say in Scottish? Get out my swamp is his Scottish. So, yeah.
Can you do one?
Well, hey, we're off down the tune.
That's Geordie.
The tune, that's Geordie.
That's the right bit. That Scotland's kind of up a bit.
I mean, right direction. Good try. But...
Scottish. From South Scotland.
South Scotland.
I'm lost with that one. Penny did a good. I asked Penny last week to do one, and I think it was a Scouse one she done. She was like Black and Decker, and she said another word, and but she couldn't do a Scottish one, bless her. But she was like Black and Decker, and I can't even. If you're still in the chat, Penny, I'm going to put in the other word that he said. I may be Essex, but the tune isn't. A Geordie one she done. The tune is about 350 miles away. I don't get that. But it's a bit of fun, I do ask some people. Some people I know, but other people I do ask them. It's a wee bit of fun. So, Rachel, how did you get mixed up with Lost Souls and the paranormal and all that kind of stuff?
So I've always loved all things spooky. When I was little, I used to see I used to see this little girl stood outside of the living room window. So I'd look across, and I used to say to people, why is she stood out there crying? And they'd be like, there's no one there. There's no one stood there. So I've always wanted to know what that was and who that was. And that's just led to going looking for it to prove that I'm not crazy. And then I met with Nikki I forgot, I was years ago, about 8 years ago. And we just got chatting at preschool one day. And turns out we're both weird. So we met up, and then Gemma has known Nikki for a long time. So the three of us, we used to go to other people's events. We used to hang out with Spook Seekers a lot, West Yorkshire Paranormal. And then we thought, sod it, let's do it ourselves. So that's where it came about. I used to own a little jewellery business called Lost Souls Jewellery, and we just changed the jewellery to paranormal, and ta-da! Here we are. And that's where we're going. That's where we've been. That's where we're going. That's where we're at.
I like you said. It was conjunctivitis. Penny said it was conjunctivitis. That's the word she used there. I lived just outside on Lovefield Heights. Yes, he's just Cockney, but the tune is Newcastle. Aye, right. Got you now, dog. I like how you said Nikki's weird. I don't think there's anybody normal in the paranormal views.
Yeah.
It must be a little bit
Got to have a little
weird.
bit of weirdness. Yeah.
You know, and I think we've actually passed it on to our daughter. She's 6.
We have.
And when we go on holiday, you know, kids look for maybe a swing park or fun fair or whatever. She gets excited when she sees a graveyard.
Yeah, we've done the same. Our girls are all in the same class at school. And I think they call themselves like the mini coven or something like that, don't they?
Lost Souls Paranormal 2.0.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I took her a wee investigation. She kept on at me, you know, Dad, can you take me out on an investigation, Kate? So a few months ago, I took her out to, it was just a wee local graveyard one Saturday afternoon, and I took a couple of K2 meters with me and an EMF meter. And so I said, there you go, you know, on you go. And she was going round it, she was talking to the headstones. You know, she's like, you can talk to me, I'll be your friend. Come and see, touch this box, whatever. And it was so cute just to watch her. Even though back to the subtitles really helps us Cockney. Love the girls, my favourite witches.
Who's that?
Is that Rich?
I don't know. I can't see it. I've got my phone open as well, and I can't see comments.
Yeah, that's either Rich or Justin.
I'm gonna have to check.
It's Rich Austin.
Yeah, Rich.
Who's that?
Hi, Rich. We appreciate your lies.
Thank you.
So are you witches as well?
No, I don't. I know we're not practicing witches or anything. I think we've all got an interest in it. I specialise in house cleansing, so I suppose there's a hedge witchy element to that. I like to go foraging, and in fact, I've just bought myself something from holiday actually, and you can dry your herbs on it. It's great, love it. So I suppose there is an element to it, but we're not practicing witches. We're not pagans, and we're not dancing around fires, and we're not sacrificing goats. So, and all those other things that people think witches do. But I think it's just because we are alternative. I suppose that we go somewhere and we're always dressed in black and we listen to heavy metal music. So because we are slightly alternative, we've got that gothic look. And, you know, it's not intentional. It's not like we've dressed up to appeal to a market or anything. It's just the way we are. So most of us it's like in this game, you've got to have a thick skin because you're always going to get criticised or questioned or even bullied about some of the things that you do and the places you go, your opinions. But being alternative, you've had to live with that most of your life anyway. So it just makes us we're just different in our own right, but quite normal compared to everyone else.
I totally agree. Yeah, and you know, in what we do, you're always going to get people who ridicule you and put you down and call you, you know, also it's up to us as well. But you know, it's everybody's entitled to their own opinion. As Perry says, who wants to be normal? Then you tell yourself, what is normal?
Normal's boring.
Normal's boring.
Yeah.
you know, what do people term as normal? And I think there's a lot more people into the paranormal than they actually admit. You know, there's nothing wrong. There's nothing wrong with being different. I mean, look, you can't get any more different than me. You know, I'm like a Scottish Shrek, basically. You know, who cares? But I always find that there's more people. People are kind of not scared, but less compelled to mention the paranormal in case they get ridiculed.
Yeah, I mean, I've got a perfect example of that. I've recently started a new job about 4 months ago, and we make a bit of a joke of it now, but I kind of waited a couple of weeks before I let my weird out. And it turns out everybody's super into it and everybody loves my weird. But yeah, you feel like you have to do that sometimes. I felt like I couldn't walk in and be all, I sit in the dark and talk to dead people for a hobby. You know, you do feel like you have to hold it in a little bit sometimes, and then you just release your weird and it's out in the open and it's all fine.
I think you're kind of accepted. You're not accepted, but, you know, people get used to your face and that, and then you can tell them that, you know. You
just test the waters a little bit, let a little bit of weird out at first, and then floodgates. Yeah.
I didn't. I started a new job and just walked in there, and they're like, "Oh, you know, so tell us about you." It's like, "Oh, well, I'm married. I've got 2 kids, and I also go out ghost hunting every weekend." And then it's like, "Okay, we'll come back to you later." So I just went into Wakefield Council one day, and I just went, "Yeah, embrace my weirdness because I'm here and I'm not going anywhere." And so I'm known as the resident spooky lady at Wakefield's Metropolitan District Council.
Same.
I actually went on a training course recently, and we were told to do a presentation on our favourite hobbies, and mine was on paranormal. And
not on drinking.
No, next one will be. No, but they were all really enthralled by it. They
Every time something creepy happens at work, they come and find me. I don't know what they think I'm going to do. But
you're going to see them off.
Exercise the demon, probably. You know, demon, whatever you know. I cast the out. Blah blah blah. What about you, Mike? Do you think people are less likely to come forward?
I get stopped all the time. Wherever I go, people stop me to talk about it. If I go shopping, the shopkeepers will stop me to talk about it. The shoppers will stop me. I did a lot of work in education. A lot of the schools I went to, the teachers would stop me. They would talk about ghost stories and stuff like that. So yeah, I get it every day. I can be walking down the street and I can hear people whispering to each other, "That's the ghost man," and they're telling the kids, you know, that's the guy who goes looking for ghosts. So yeah, I get it everywhere I go.
There's a ghost man. You better behave or he'll come and get you, sort of thing.
That's ominous.
That's what you'll look like if you don't behave. The ghost man will come. People are scared of the unknown because of that. They go in defence mode, and some deal with it in various ways. Some become offensive and rude, and some become intrigued. That's very true. I mean, we've met quite a few people just by chance. That's how we met Gail. It's in the chat. She's in our team. They were the same campsite as us last year, and it was just by sheer chance that we said, you know, we're going to Pendle, because we'd been there for a week, and then we were going to Pendle for like 4 days, and so we're just packing up to go, and they were saying, "Oh, you can back up the road." So I said, "No, we're heading to Pendle because we do paranormal." And she said, "Oh, I love the paranormal," and we've met quite a few people like that. You say, "No, we're on a paranormal channel." "Oh, I love a paranormal." But they'll not say to anybody else about it, you know. My work hate my sideline, but I have clients sending me photos and videos of unexplained stuff. Plus, I have a few care homes who have asked me to come and see if I pick anything up. Mike the Ghost Man Covell, you need to change your Facebook name to that. A cool name, actually, the Ghost Man.
The Ghost Man, yeah.
Right, you know, I was calling him the Ripper Man the other week, but we changed it to the
Well, one makes him sound like he's dead. The other one makes him sound like a crazy murderer,
Serial
doesn't it? I mean, like, which, I don't know, it's a bit of a toss-up there. Which one do you prefer?
I think because Sarah was on that live with me, and I think she gave me into trouble because I said, "We're going to get Mike back in. You can meet Mike the Man." you know, rather than the Ripper side of it, and seriously that, you're making them sound like a woman. And I thought it sounded like Top Gun handle. But do you think the last maybe 10, 15 years of paranormal's become more accepted, more recognised?
I think it's become a bit more mainstream. I think there's a lot more people, not mainstream, I don't think I'd ever go that far, but I do think there's an awful lot more people doing it. It's a lot more known and out there. Go back 10 years and I remember going on investigations, but there were so few companies that did it, or so few companies that were kind of out there doing it. And now there's just so many, which is why you've got to pick and choose a little bit, I think.
Mm-hmm. And I think because there's so many, it adds to the drama. And
there's so much drama.
We just keep it fun.
But see,
I think.
Sorry, no.
No, I'm just saying that's what sets us apart. I think sometimes is that when you look at what's happening with the teams and you see their lives and people are fighting with others and there's fallouts. We just rock up to a location that we think is fascinating, and we just have a little bit of a laugh. We take our gear with us. We use our sensors. We don't tend to go live very often. If we do, it's not very serious. It's just us messing about. So I think that's what sets us apart from some of the other teams. And we don't get involved in any of the kind of drama. I know, like Mike, you don't either. You just kind of take a step back, don't you? And it's just not worth it. We're all supposed to be doing this for the same reason, and it's just awful watching others rip teams apart.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, have you experienced a lot of it, Mike?
Oh God, yeah, so much. I've had death threats. I've had people threaten to burn the house down. People threaten to kill the kids. I had to open up a file with them beside police at one point to report stuff to them. But I'm quite thick-skinned. A lot of it I use as motivation, just to drive me on. So it usually peaks when I've been on TV or when there's been an article in the paper or something like that. But just usually, I tend not to read the comments, and I say to the kids, because the kids will go to school and stuff and they'll Google me in school, and I'll say to them, don't read the comments because people can be quite nasty. So.
Mm-hmm. We done Andy Murphy, Charlie Rutten, myself, we done a live last week. We joined the Nighthawk Paranormal as well, about all the bullying and stuff that's going on, and it's just people. It's starting to cross. Well, Sarah and I have experienced it personally. The crossover into your personal life, and they start. Hi, Von Doc. Hi again. I could not write comments. Right. Okay. Well, that's for you.
Yeah.
Wow.
Just dropped, and I can't up because I'm only in my underwear down here. So. Did you not notice? Foot. I've had to adjust the camera and everything.
The writing's so tiny, I can't see any comments without pressing my face against the screen. Coming in.
Well, Mikey told us what happened and what he's wearing.
Just go. Get some of those many books, Mike. Get some of your books. Your bookshelves freak me out.
There we go.
Wait,
right.
Mate, if you're only wearing boxers, don't move too far away to the camera. I beg you.
I'm crawling around trying to fix the hydraulics.
Just press the down button. I want to see you go down. Do it. Go spinning.
I'll tell you a funny story. Sarah and I had this wrong started, PIH, and I'll catch up with comments in a wee second. But Sarah used to have a computer in here, and I had one in the room, and we used to do. We'd do the same live with two separate rooms because of feedback and what have you. And there was one time I was doing it in my shorts in the room, and for some reason my light disappeared, and I walked into the living room, and I totally forgot that she was on the live, and the camera could see me just standing there, t-shirt and boxer shorts, and it was actually
Wow.
you look at the screen and you see yourself on her screen. You think everybody can see me. And you can run back. The damage is already done, but you can run back out the door. I got a couple of comments to it up. We all know the girls love the paranormal. What's your feedback footage? They had a great laugh of a serious investigative side. How much of the girls delved into the demon side of the paranormal, and are they interested in that side? And there's a question for you.
So I have my own opinion on demons, and I don't believe that wherever we go there's going to be a demon there. I think that it's over sensationalized on TV. A lot of these demons are Jewish folklore. So unless you're Jewish and you have a deep belief in some of these demons, some of these creatures that you think are haunting your house or haunting a building, they don't exist. We don't go in there looking for a Jewish demon. Yet they'll insist. Somebody who owns the building might insist that there's somebody there, and it's not. I'm not into demons. I have very little interest in it. Very little interest in it. 80% of it is all Jewish folklore, so I've just got no interest in it.
I often find if people don't do the research on a property, they'll just go in there and say it's a demon.
Yeah.
Rather than going spending time in the archives looking for, through the census and birth, marriage, death records and stuff like that, they'll just go in there and say it's a demon. And it's evolved as well. I don't know if you remember, like a decade ago, there was no speak of demons. It was all monks. In Oldham, had like a situation where people would go and just say it's a monk or it's a nun. And it kind of evolves. Like you say, a lot of it's media. A lot of it is how the media portray it and stuff like that. But I found if people don't research the property, they'll go in and just say it's demons. And I've had a lot of, we do house blessings as well. We get a lot of call from people who have had people in and they've just said, oh, it's a demon. And that scares the crap out of them. So then they come to us and we'll go in and, do a blessing for them. But yeah.
It's not. Once did a house cleansing at a place in Leeds, and the only time I've come across anything that was even remotely demonic was the guy that was living there had been messing about with the keys of Solomon. And so I pointed out that this is something you shouldn't be dabbling in, but there was nothing demonic within that house. He just had an interest in unlocking the keys of Solomon. It's like, well, shouldn't be messing with that anyway. But again, that's Jewish folklore. It's Jewish law, and he wasn't Jewish, so I don't understand it. I don't understand how you can believe in something when you're not of that faith, if that makes sense. It's like me going in to try and do an exorcism with a crucifix. I am Catholic. I couldn't do an exorcism. I don't believe in it, so I couldn't do that. Just like you can't go into somewhere and rid a house of a demon that you don't believe exists.
What were you, Nikki? What's your whole outlook on it?
I agree with I think it's overused, over sensationalized. It's used as an attention grabbing headline, isn't it? OMG demon.
Yeah, just to create drama.
And it's like you go into places, you're going to get all kinds of different things. It's like same in life, isn't it? That some people are bad, some people are good, some people are really, really horrible. And I suppose that's the same. And you're going to find different things like that wherever you go. And I just think it's used to try and grab attention where it probably shouldn't be. And it's not something we jump into and start. I don't know. It's hard to word, but
it's like everything leaves behind energy. Everything. It all depends on you as to what kind of energy you're leaving behind. So in 50, 60 years' time, should there be somebody coming in to investigate my house, do I want them to come here and think, oh, there's a demon here because maybe I was in a bad mood one day? It's about what energy you leave behind. Everything holds energy. You can go into any building, touch any wall, everything holds energy, regardless of how old it is. It's about what was in there previously, and that's why we like to have a look at what was there first, so we know what we're walking into, what we could be walking into.
Gemma, are you in the same?
I'm pretty much of the same opinion. Yeah.
I mean, I've got quite a few comments to put up. Hi, Campbell. Hope you're doing okay, honey.
Hi, Karen.
Hi.
I mean,
Who's that?
Karen.
Karen.
Is that our Karen?
Yeah.
Is that our Karen? I just want to take a minute to tell you, Karen, that we love you very much, and don't ever forget it.
Yep.
Yeah, you're in our thoughts, doll.
There she is, my beautiful mouthy wife.
She's a lovely lady, absolutely lovely lady. I see we don't touch the demonic side of it because one, we don't know anything about it, and two, it's not what we do. But I agree. I think people jump on demonic. I mean,
Excuse me.
You know, I believe there is demons. You know, some kind somewhere probably. But I think it's mere for effect, and you know what some people call demonic. You know, could be a grumpy old man. If you're in somebody's house and it might have been a grumpy old man in life, it was still a grumpy old man, you know, on the other side. But people say, "Oh, that's demonic. It's demonic," but it could, you know, it could be
Just a
anything.
miserable git.
Aye, exactly. You know, if you see you, for instance, you get an old gentleman who lived in a house all his years and he passes over, you know, and then somebody moves into that house and starts to rip it apart, you know, renovate it. If he's still there, he's seen this, you know, that's my house, they're destroying it, and you know, so he's not happy about it. Whereas people say it's a demon. You've got a demon in your house, and you know they start to bless the house and all the rest of it. It's just a, you know, grumpy old Fred because you've moved, you know, took his wallpaper down or something. Basic and simple, you know. I'll catch up with these comments. Well, there's no. That was no. We all do the same, just in different ways. I much prefer a group that likes to. I agree with 100%. We take what we do very serious, same as yourselves, but they like to try and be kind of light-hearted about it, you know, rather than really, really serious. Mike and I are both people with types of writing truth about places rather than this. Although I've had death threats, hopefully I never will. Penny says, Rach, me and my pecs agree with you.
They're exquisite. Oh. Tiny crush.
That's what they say. Here's another question for you folks. What do you think of the boxes?
Of what?
Of Dybbuk boxes.
Dybbuk boxes.
What do we think of Dybbuk boxes?
Again, I think they're nonsense.
Yeah.
But that's my personal opinion. That's my opinion. I think they're nonsense. Again, unless you actually believe in what you're doing, unless you believe in what you're putting in that box and ceiling protection, then it's not for me.
No.
If you sincerely believe that there's something negative that you think you can contain within a box and sealing with wax, then you know, if that helps you sleep at night, then that's great. But it's not for me. I don't believe in that. It's not of my faith. So it's not something I would ever do or choose to explore.
No.
Penny said sometimes a child spirit is just a child spirit. It's not a demon masquerading as a kid. That's the other thing. I mean, I've watched quite a few teams and come up with a demonic word, you know, again, whatever. And they're just doing it to boost their followers or their views or, you know, stuff like that. And it's totally wrong. The series you get a lot of teams that will fake stuff. If they're going to, we all know you can go in an investigation and you get diddly squat all night. Mm-hmm. You know, you can sit there for 3, 4, 10 hours, whatever.
And most of the time it's like that. That is what
Yeah.
most of it is.
Yeah.
And I think people don't expect that.
Yeah.
But
They
you spend
expect
those
something
hours
all
and
the
hours
time.
and hours and hours, for
Yeah.
that tiny little snippet. And that is what it is. It's sitting in the dark with absolutely nothing happening 99% of the time. But then I think people who might just have a bit of an interest, who are new to the kind of field, come into it and expect it to be like it's edited up to be on TV.
Yeah.
And then start throwing around, this team of crap, but then would they go to a team that are making stuff up and say, oh God, it was brilliant, there was so much happening, blah, blah, blah. And that's why they do it, isn't it?
But see, that's it. We've done ourselves. We went to investigations and get nothing, or we've had a flicker of a cat ball or something, and about 5 hours. But I enjoy the anticipation, if that makes sense. You're sitting there and you're waiting for something I enjoy that as well. The not knowing.
Yeah.
If something's going to happen. I mean, we took people, it was, one night we went to an old church and we get absolutely nothing, and we had a lady with us. And I says to her after it, I says, bit of quiet night tonight, doll. Sorry, because sometimes you do feel kind of guilty, because you came there. You say, sorry, doll, spirits weren't in the mood. And she was like, no, don't be daft. I had an absolutely fantastic night. I really, really enjoyed the night. But nothing happened, but it was just the whole experience of being there.
That's it. For somebody like me,
lighthearted.
I'm a complete history nerd as well, so just getting to look around these places while they're closed to the public is pretty much why I'm in.
I like spending 5 hours of peace away from the kids. It's great.
And
that's what I go for.
It is good to get that wee bit of peace and quiet at times. You love your kids, don't you? But it's nice to get. I can't wait till schools go back. I'm counting down the days. It's like 3 days to the end of the holidays. I don't know when your schools go back, but we've got 3 days to go.
September.
September.
Yeah.
Oh, you usually get the short end of the stick.
Aren't we just?
I'll get 3 days and then it's 9 o'clock at the gates. Bye bye. That sounds kind of bad. So, Rachel, what's the kind of spookiest experience you've had when you've been up with the girls?
Spookiest experience. There's been a few, but I think. Oh, let me have a think. Actually, I'll tell you what really freaked me out was we went to Newsham Park, didn't we? And well, I don't know what my expectations were because everybody goes there and it's been on TV a lot. So now I don't know what I was expecting. Went into this little private, went into this little ward area, and we're stood around in a circle. We like to do swaying and that kind of thing, using our senses. And I could feel this static down my back. And it just felt like somebody was stood right behind me. And I think it was Nikki said, someone stood behind you. I can see them. I'm like, I know. And you just can't move because it's like so you could feel somebody stood behind you. And then then what was really weird then is I kind of just zoned out a little bit and I almost slumped to the floor and everyone's like, your face is melting off. Your face is melting off. It looks like wax. Your face is melting. I'm like, don't say that. So that was kind of weird. That was pretty odd. It's when you actually have a physical experience, seeing something, it is like, oh yeah, what I expect to see that. See shadow figures, and it's like that's amazing. But when it's something physical that's happening to you, it has a completely different reaction. You have a different reaction to that. But that was so weird. And everyone was like, your face is melting. Don't tell me that.
But everybody saw that. Everybody in that group saw it. It was really good.
It was bizarre.
I could feel somebody stood behind me. Oh, they were so close. You could feel it.
My back didn't love you, holding you up.
No.
So sorry. I'll lose some weight, shall I?
Behave.
You can see that's what I like with your group. You can tell, you can see the closeness you have. You have a laugh and a joke. You slag each other off, but you can tell that you click well together. Especially when Nikki's on swings at midnight, absolutely steaming out her face. No touch on the subject.
That was hilarious.
Do you know what we need to do? We need to kidnap Mike. You're gonna have to come out with us, Mike. That's it. When this chat's finished, we're organising a collaboration, and you're coming out with us. We're going to kidnap you, and you're going to be an honorary LSP for the night. You don't even get to say no. There's no choice.
No,
it's not optional.
not
I'd
optional.
be quite happy to do that. And the offer's the same for you, ladies, as well. If you're ever in this neck of the woods and you're looking for somewhere interesting with a fair bit of paranormal history, give us a shout and I'll show you around. I've took hundreds of groups around over the years, all over the
Never
place.
taken one round.
I really want to do one of your ghost walks, actually. I see that you post them all the time on Facebook, and I really want to do one. It's just pinning these two reprobates down on a weekend.
Yeah, they're really popular. I've done, I did some with Paranormal Hauntings. The ladies came across, and I took them out on a couple of tours, and one of them they live streamed, and then the other one they just filmed segments of and stuff like that. But yeah, if you're ever across in this neck of the woods, give us a shout. Loads of
but
venues.
you're only over the border in pretend Yorkshire. It's in pretend Yorkshire.
I'm not going there tonight.
Well, you said on a live, Mike, so you need to go. You know what I mean? You need to go and join up.
Yeah, I'm up for that.
I think it'd be, I definitely think it'd be an experience for you. You know, especially.
Yes, it would be.
We
And
might
we
not-
also provide very good snacks. We're very good at snacks.
Rachel's a
With
feeder.
feeders.
Rachel is a feeder.
It's like, do you want a donut? No, yes, you do have two.
Oh, I hate
And I pinch your nose and just stick it in.
No, go on, have it. No, I'm fighting. No, odds, go on. Take it. No, I don't want it. No, really, take it. You know, no, I don't want it. So you end up taking it, you know, and before you know, you've ate about 10 tea cakes or something, you're like, and then they come back up with something else, you know, a yummy or something for Greg's. Here, do you want one of these? Take one of these, you know, like your grand kind of force feed you.
Well, if I'm driving anywhere, Rachel's always bloody stuffing. It's shoving sweets in my mouth.
She'll be driving. I'm like, do you want a sweet, Gemma? Yeah, okay. And then she's saying okay. It's like, okay.
Of course I do. Of course I do. So Mike, your ghost tours, right? I mean, obviously we're about an hour away from Edinburgh, and there's no disrespect to them, but we've been there quite a lot, and we've listened to some of them. You know, we kind of sometimes I've kind of followed them because I don't want to pay for it. So you just kind of, you're looking in the shops, but you go the same route as they're doing. So you're still getting the tour, but you're not actually paying for it. Just try it, it works. You just you just went at a shop window, you know. Look in the nearest shop window or the nearest bus timetable. Just then give it 2 or 3 minutes and start following. You kid on, you're looking for somebody, you know, afraid you've lost your friend or your wife or something like that, you know. Where is she? You know, or you're on your phone, I can't find you, where are you? You know, it's great. It's like, come to Scotland, we'll teach you the tricks. We will teach you the tricks, you know. Because it's about
people get tighter as they go up north. The further north you go, the more thrifty we are.
Oh, we're tight, you know. See,
I mean, we're tight, but you sound as tight as a duck's arse, mate. Honestly, wow, that's great.
I'll bend down is for £1. That's basically it. You know, we use no offence to Aberdeen people. My dad had a thing. My dad was as tight as, you know, that basically. And he drove and he used to go, you know, freewheel quite a bit. Whenever there was a hill, he would freewheel it to save petrol, you know, to save money. And he would say, it's the Aberdonians gear, son. Use the Aberdonians gear. Into neutral, buy. Save money all the way. Oh, man, you're tight up here. You know. You can't get any tighter. I've got a question for Vaughan for you, but the ghost tours, Mike, I've listened to some of them up here, and it's the same spiel over and over again. You can tell that they've been handed a script, you know, and they're just reading off this script. Sarah and I went in one year. The only reason I paid for it is because it was for her birthday. So I paid for that one, you know. And
Your generosity knows no bounds.
We didn't eat for 2 weeks after it, but I paid for the tour. It was a case of Tesco or tour. Well, you know, and we're standing listening to this guy. He was a young guy doing his job, but it was just a load of bollocks, basically. For want of a better word. How do you run your tours?
So what I like to do is, Hull is notorious for dodgy mediums. We've had quite a few quite infamous names in the city. And what I like to do is I like to take their spiel and debunk it using historical sources. But what I do is I use digital technology. So I'll stand there with a tablet and show people things like the maps and stuff like that, and the buildings, and show them, you know, the real history. You know, when, for example, we have a wonderful story in Hull about a skull. And according to the story, I don't know if you can see that, there's a pub with a skull in, and over the years, loads of paranormal groups have been to this property. They've all made up these ridiculous claims about it. It was found in the Victorian period. It was found after a fire. The late Derek Okora came to Hull. He touched it and got possessed by a scouser. And what I do is I show people the actual newspaper clippings from when it was actually found and how it was examined by the top bone surgeon in Britain, who declared it to be a fraud. But to this day, when you run paranormal events at that venue, people get possessed by this murdered servant girl and stuff like that. So what I like to do is I like to tell them the ghost story, tell them the origins and the history behind it, and let people make up their own minds and their own. So it's totally open-ended. But we get a lot of skeptics come on. We've had people from all different walks of life, all different backgrounds. We get a lot from the legal profession come on. I've taken hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of students around over the years, and that's really interesting, because the students that are doing kind of the sciences at university, they're very skeptical, whereas the students who are doing things like literature and art, those kind of studies, they believe. So it's really interesting when you take them out on a night, and there's an area where you touch your hand on a window and things like that, and I get them to put their hands on the window, and the science lot will just go and stand at the opposite side of the road and watch and laugh, and all the English department will be lined up with their hands on the window, and then I'll reveal to them that the story's all just made up nonsense, and I'll show them the history behind it and stuff like that, and then they'll all start laughing at each other. But yeah, I like to show them the history side and show them where the stories originated, who was behind them, why they were told. A lot of them were told for money-making events and stuff like that. But yeah, we've had some terrible mediums come up with some absolutely rubbish stories, and they just don't hold up to historical scrutiny. You know, one of them, there was a guy knocking about, and he was claiming there was an alleyway in Hull that was haunted by a 19th century prostitute who was murdered down there, and her name was Fanny Adams. But if you look at the history, Fanny Adams was a little girl. She was killed in Alton, in Barnes. She had nothing to do with Hull. So he's taken her story, changed it, and stuck it in Hull, and I found that disrespectful. But I show people the history and show them the graves and stuff like that, and the photographs, and that's why I have the tablet, because it has all the stuff on there, it has all the research, so they can see that while they're stood there, and it gives them a better view on the history and the stories.
I see, if you're going to, I've got a couple of questions for Vaughan, but I've got a comment for Pop. The answer me, I think the research and history is more important. To me, I totally agree with you. If you're going to get a tour, then get it right. Because these people, it's not as if it's paying customers. These people are paying money to, go on the tour, basically. But these people are there to learn stuff as well. They want to know about the history of a building, a person, whatever it is. And I've seen this a couple of times in Greyfriars. The story of Greyfriars Bobby. Dog. I've heard a few tour guides, telling people they're getting to Greyfriars and there's a headstone, there's a load of twigs sitting at the base of it, and say, well, this is where the dog's buried. This is where Greyfriars Bobby's buried. That's a load of bollocks, because the dog's not buried there. The dog was actually buried outside of the graveyard, because there was a law that stated that an animal could not be buried in the same graveyard, same places that people could. So they actually found the skeleton of the dog, Candlestick Road it's called. It's a street right outside the cemetery. I think it was the late 1800s. They were digging up the street. They were doing work, and they found the skeleton of a dog. It was the 1900s. I think it was the 1900s. But they found the skeleton of the dog in the street. They reburied it, you know. But the amount of people who say, "Oh, aye, this is where the dog's buried inside the graveyard, and that's why all the sticks are there," you know. And it's just misleading to people, and it's, you know, and it's insulting to the memory of the people that they're actually talking about as well. If you're going to talk about something, get it right, basically. Bon was asking if any of the girls are mediums. Sorry, Bon, I know you asked that a wee while ago. Sorry, doll.
No, in short.
That's that one.
No, we're not mediums. I suppose that we're quite sensitive. You walk into places. Unfortunately, I seem to be quite susceptible to channeling, even though I don't like it. So no, we're not mediums. We don't claim to be. We like to go and find things for ourselves. And sometimes it's nice to go without a medium and just use your own senses and see what you pick up rather than being told by someone else what's there. So it's nice to go without a medium sometimes.
We've had that investigation. I mean, I'm not a medium. Some people call me a medium. And I say, I'm not a medium. I'm nothing. You know, I don't a medium myself. You know, I'm not any of that. But sometimes I'll get the feeling that there is somebody standing beside me, or you get an image in your head, or something that's maybe happened in a particular place that you're standing in, and you try to explain that to people. And to me, I think that's better than all the tech and everything that you can use on an investigation when you actually have an experience yourself or a feeling, if that makes sense.
The more you go out and investigate anyway, the more sensitive you do become to your surroundings. I remember the first times I ever went on an investigation, I stood in the dark and I was thinking, well, I'm not going to tune into anything here. I can't hear anything. I just hear the sound of the humming in the background. It was like having tinnitus. And then the more you do it, the more used to the dark and the sounds and the silence. And you know what you're listening for. You're not listening for any little thing. You'll hear a creak, you're like, well, that's just a floorboard. You know, so we've just walked across that floor, it's a floorboard. So you do become, you know, more sensitive to your surroundings the longer you do it.
Mm-hmm. I'm glad you said that, Rachel, because Sarah, with my partner, we've done all the investigations and she's never really picked up on anything. But last night we were on a joint investigation with Spike, and Sarah picked up on quite a few things. But she'd never picked up, you know, she's never mentioned before. She was getting this really, really bad feeling about a particular area we were in, and then she was saying that she could sense a figure behind a wall in a graveyard and what have you. There was a few things, and I said maybe it's because, you know, subconsciously you're opening up yourself more and more each time we go out. Do you think that's basically what you do every time we go out? The barriers kind of dropping a bit.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
And you don't realise it. A question for you, Mike. Vaughn, that's the wrong one. That's it there. UFO sightings over East Yorkshire.
I have, yeah. In fact,
is there any books you don't have?
big book, that one. But that's
Shameless
all
book promotion.
You can't get it; they're not available anymore. But yeah, that's all from the East Yorkshire stuff. And then they're all the Hull sightings. So, and again, it's a big one. But yeah, experienced a lot over the years. We do a lot of scar watches. I don't like to get sort of pigeonholed into just ghost hunting. So, over the years, I've done scar watches. We've done the werewolf stuff, and then the Humber sea serpent, big cat sightings. We've gone researching them. So I don't like to just pigeonhole myself into one thing. But what I found is there's a lot of overlap. a lot of the locations where I've been, people have seen UFOs, or they've seen big cats, or they've experienced ghosts. And I find that the paranormal is such a big field. And I find that some venues are rife with kind of weird activity from all sorts of different paranormal aspects.
I had a member of my group who wanted to go to a said house in Hull. I've never wanted to go, as many do. I've never wanted to go, many do, to say they have been.
Said house on the
39 Grey Street.
I thought behind it and get the correct details.
Honestly, when I went to De Grey Street, I saw sights outside that house. Good God. It was far scarier than anything inside it.
Oh, do tell. I'm Scottish. I'm open to gossip. Do tell.
I mean, I think I went with Gary Fields and his cousin Linda, and we were just sat in the van out. He drives a camper van, and we sat in the van outside this house, and the sirens going everywhere. I don't know what was going on. But in the 15 minutes we're in the car, we watched 2 drug deals in complete plain sight, literally in the middle of the road, lad on a bike, then this woman who I can only assume was a lady of the night plying her trade. It was, interesting. It was definitely an
I think that's just all for you. We did a live broadcast one night in Beverley. We were driving around Beverley, which is really up class, higher market sort of. And we were on the Westwood, and there was just loads of cars parked up. And we were live streaming, and I approached the cars, and they were all dogging. And I tried to turn the camera around, try not to film it, and I was like, these people are just having sex. And the guy, it's not the first time either. I did a tour for we have a local hospice for people with cancer, and the staff there are amazing. And I wanted to do something for the staff, so I gave them all a ghostly night, which was a walk down the old railway track. And we got to this local picnic spot. It was pitch black. We're all sat around in the darkness on these tables telling ghost stories, and all these cars started pulling up. And I didn't know that it was a hotspot for dogging. So we're sat there, and all these lovely ladies are like, "What's going on?" And they were just, everyone was just. And I said, on the count of 3, we'll all switch our torches on. And all the cars are pulling off, and his tires screeching. And there was this old fella just parked up in his car. And we walked by him, and he wound his window down and started effing and jeffing at us. And he basically said that he was really looking forward to that. He'd been looking forward to it all week. We'd spoiled it, and I was mortified. But the ladies thought it was hilarious. And then there was the time we went into the cemetery in Hull. And I was with my friend Terry. It was a summer's day like today, and we were walking into the cemetery, and he said, "Don't look now, but these people having sex." So we looked, and sure enough, they were making a film. They were making a movie. So my mate Terry's quite a lot older than me. He started shouting at them and told them they were being disrespectful, and they ran off. And it was really funny because the camera crew went first, and the male and female talent was still trying to get dressed and sort of run down the. And we told the media about this, and they twisted the original story was Mike was on a ghost walk, and he took the clients into the cemetery and came upon these people making a film. Then in the national newspapers, it said Mike was on a paranormal investigation and heard moans in the night and went to investigate and found them making a film. And then in the American newspapers, it said Mike stumbled upon this satanic rituals in a cemetery. People were performing satanic sex rituals. And I remember the first time I met Nick Groff, he walked up to me and shook my hand. And the first thing he said to me was, "You're the cemetery prawn guy." And it was just like...
That's his name. That's the name. It's not the ghost man or the Ripper. Cemetery prawn guy, yes.
Yes.
And I think that's quite a fitting name. I don't think we've ever had anything that happen to us, unfortunately. Yeah,
Yeah.
But I mean, let's face it, some of the locations we all go to, at the times we go to, they are kind of ideal places for these sort of things to go on. You know, I don't want to say too much, you know, because it's a respectable channel. Cemetery porn, geez, porn guy, geez. But I think when somebody tells you not to look, you do. It's the first thing you do is look, you know, or they'll come and say, right, try and not make it obvious, but there's a couple behind us doing stuff. And so you're immediately like that, you know, where, getting the phone and everything. It's a natural thing. Vicky, you went to some drug dealing going on.
Oh yeah.
Just what were Gemma and Rachel? What's the sort of weirdest thing you've ever experienced? Funniest thing, whatever you want to call
it. There's two that spring straight to my mind.
What?
First of all, the Bates Motel.
Oh my God, how we made it out alive.
The second one was the charity shop ring.
Oh. Yeah. Oh God.
That was something else.
That was,
Oh dear.
You'll have to elaborate now, Nikki.
You can't just say it and then, you know, close it down.
Go on.
So I'll start it off and then Nikki can jump in. So we were at the Festival of the Unexplained this year, and we were outside with 3 of the race chasers, and there was this guy out there with his wife, and he was saying, so are you all couples? And I'm like, yeah, we were all just met on the internet a couple of weeks ago, and now we're getting married. And he's like, no, you're not. So we're just winding him up a little bit. I'm like, yeah. I said, look, I've even got a ring and everything. I said, I'm marrying him, you know, Brannon from the race chaser. I was like, I'm marrying him. And he's like, oh, come and look at a ring, he says to his wife. So she has a look at the ring. He says, show him that one I got you, that engagement ring. She went, don't be fucking stupid. That's not the one you bought me. That's the one I nicked from charity shop. It were great. She had no teeth. She looked like she'd been wearing the same clothes. She looked like she was from Hull. So and she's like, don't be stupid. This is the one he bought me. I nicked this one from charity shop. It was great. I think a little bit of weed came out, suppressing that laugh. It's like, oh, very nice. Yes, it's delightful.
So that's the one I nicked. At least she was open about it. You know, that's the one I nicked for charity shop, you know. So what was the other one?
The Bates
The other
Motel.
one was the hotel hotel's a loose term, where we stayed when we went to Hinckley.
Gemma's not allowed to book accommodation any longer.
I'm going to say this yet again, Rachel. You were the one that sent me the link. All I did
Colin
was
said cheap. She said cheap. The pictures were very misleading. From the outside, this building looked fabulous, didn't it? Looked really colourful. It was above an Italian. Yeah, it was above an Italian restaurant, which had been on Come Dine With Me as well. So it looked great. It were like, yep, this is going to be fabulous. And then we got there, and it was just awful.
the pictures must have been old.
Like 10 years old.
Yeah, easy. The windows wouldn't close properly. There was this weird hatch thing above my bed.
Which to say we were in the loft, I don't know what it was. We were in the attic, so whatever.
Bodies.
Horrible. And it smelt so bad. It just smelled
all the
terrible.
beds were on
and the beds
wheels.
were yeah,
on laminate floor. None of us woke up in the same place. We went to
bed dungeons. It were great. Yeah, we thought we were going to die.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think you sit, you know, at the time it might not be funny or whatever, but you sit later on and you just laugh at it. You know, I think that's what makes what we do as well better, because, you know, I mean, we've never really had bad situations that I can remember. But it's the kind of thing you sit and look back on. You know, we've had investigations that have just been total disasters and stuff, for, you know, the outset. But the charity ring one, that sounds like something you'd get in Glasgow or something.
That was the funniest thing I've ever witnessed.
She was just so open about it. No, I nicked it from a charity shop.
What was steals from things?
Oh God! When he came down in his underpants that evening as well. I was sat with Rob Thompson and Father Sebastian, just sat chatting about stuff. And he comes down. You could hear her screaming from upstairs. And he comes marching past in his underpants and t-shirt. He says, "I got locked out." So what are you doing out of your room dressed like that anyway? Why aren't you in your room? I've got locked out, and I'm like, yeah, but why are you out your room in your pants and your t-shirt? They're like, I'm off to reception, I've been locked out. But why? Why are you locked out of your room? That was such a weird night, that. So weird.
It's when you meet people with that, then you know that we're kind of semi-normal.
I felt very normal. But I mean, a lot of Gemma is a great source of amusement no matter where we go. If anybody's going to fall, it's going to be Gemma. If anybody's going to walk into a massive spider lair, it's going to be Gemma.
Yeah.
Yeah. So she's a great source of amusement, aren't you?
Yeah.
Massive liability, but she's really funny.
I'm usually the one that does the falling, and I'm usually holding the camera. And the thing is, I never seem to drop the camera when I fall. My fall always gets filmed. You can see it just kind of going like that, and it doesn't have to be nighttime. It can be broad day. I fell in broad daylight over big boulders and stuff that are in plain that I can see, that are there, but I'll still fall over.
Gemma.
Does that sound like Gemma?
Yeah.
That's absolutely Gemma. She falls over her own feet. We were in broad daylight once. We went shopping to go get some matching pajamas because we were being a bit nerdy. We stopped at the Black Swan in York, which is one of my favourite locations. And so we went to go get matching pajamas, thinking it was all cute. And we went into Primark. She tripped over this massive plinth, nearly took down a dummy. We'd only been in there about 40 seconds, and it was straight over into this dummy. It's like, what are you doing? So we kind of crab walked away from her a little bit.
They weren't with me.
Bye. And then we got to the village one time. We fell over within the first 2 minutes in the village.
No, I really hurt myself that time, though. I damaged my knee. But luckily, I fell behind the car and nobody saw me.
Just
we saw it, and that's all that matters.
No insane, but they are kind of really, really nice. I mean, I'm falling over a mannequin in Primark. I like how, Rachel, you say it's Primark. It's Primark.
Oh, God.
No, it's not.
It'd be spelled P-R-E if it was Primark.
Primark. I'm going to Primark. I actually asked a mannequin for directions once.
A what now?
A mannequin.
A mannequin.
In a shop.
Oh.
Very
good shopping with Gemma. It'd be dangerous.
Defence. I will say, was very well dressed. I did. I asked it. I was looking for certain things, and I went, "I said, can you tell me where the Jets trousers are or whatever it was?" And I never get any answer. Then I realised I was talking to a mannequin. You try and make it intentional. After you realise your mistake, you actually looking for a price tag or something on his jacket or whatever. Just
keep it cool. Just keep it cool. No one's looking.
Aye, nobody saw me talk to that dummy. Primarks in Glasgow are lethal. If you ever come to Glasgow at Christmas, don't go to Primark. Sorry, Primark. Because it's just like every man for himself. People are fighting each other over cardigans and stuff like that. Don't come to Primark at Christmas time. You know what I mean? But I think we'll wind up there. Just before we do, I know tonight's been a wee bit paranormal and a wee bit, stuff, basically. Nonsense. But I think that's what makes a good live. As I've said before, I've watched some lives and you just want to go to your own funeral watching them. That's how bad they are. You just want to go out and find a big shovel and dig the hole yourself, basically. But I think you can sort of just chat casually, talk about stupid stuff. It makes all that much better, So before we go, what's up for LSP next? What's next on the cards?
We've got Keithley.
2 events.
2 events coming up.
Yeah, we've got an event at a place we've done before, Keithley Underground Streets. It's an old street underneath the Royal Arcade in Keighley. We love it there. We've been a couple of times now. We've got it booked again for the 3rd of September. It's a nice venue. We only take a few people, so it's always a bit more low-key. It's nice. So we've got that one booked, and we do have some tickets available if anybody's interested.
Give them a look up.
Huh?
What?
I would say give these a look up if these are interested.
Yeah, drop us a message. Head to the website. You can have a look if you fancy it. I won't be there because it's my birthday, so I'm having the night off.
So if you go,
Just saying, 3rd of September. If you want to send me cards, presents, money, that's fine.
PayPal.
My birthday first.
I need a PO box, but I need a PO box.
So if you do LSP, I was going to say LSD there. Jesus, LSD.
Not unheard of.
Not the first time.
Be prepared to either get drunk or fall over mannequins.
Essentially, yeah.
Essentially, or get fed.
Anything's possible.
I mean, what about you, Mr. Covell? What's up next for you?
I've got Ghost Walks all planned for this weekend. I've got the Hull Horror Festival later this year. Loads of stuff on the cards, mostly local. Lots of tours and lectures and stuff like that. I've just been working on a couple of new books. I've been doing a lot of research trips like that to the archives and get all the research in. Just been writing loads and loads and loads. I finished 3 books in the past 2 weeks.
That's a lot of writing.
Yeah, I love writing. I'm a nerd. But yeah, just go into my own little world and just sit with my headphones on and put some music on. I'll put a film on and just type. And I love it.
Tell you a good film to watch next time you're writing. I've just forgotten the name of it.
Memorable. You'll love it. It's that great. You can't remember. Love it.
Eye in the Sky. I remember that. I hate that when that happens. You're going to say something and it just falls out your head. It just you don't know where it goes. It just disappears. I watched it the other night. Helen Mirren is in it now. I will confess. I've said it was what she tell you. Helen Mirren is my celeb crush, but don't judge me. However, Eye in the Sky with Helen Mirren, definitely give a watch. I'm not promoting here, but definitely give it a watch. But 3 books and 2, that's a power of writing.
I love it.
I have trouble writing a shopping list. Do you know what I mean? I get lost halfway down. And then I usually forget to take it to the shops with me. I usually leave it in the house in the car and I need to back for it. Just thought, how much is the full Horror Fest shared? Just thought.
I've absolutely no idea. I'm booked for it. That's all I know. I usually do this every year. They've had a couple of years off, obviously, because of COVID and stuff like that. But they got in touch. I was one of the first people booked for this year's. I have honestly no idea how much it is. I don't think it's very expensive. But I know there's quite a lot lined up this year. So obviously they've had quite a lot of time off.
To do it, Mike, writing my book, keep saying I'm going to start it and still not got round to it. You'll get used to it. Plenty of time, Vaughan. Don't rush yourself. Take it, I'm sure Mike can give you some tips and some
definitely.
Author advice or whatever you want to call it, that kind of stuff, Shows you're an educated arm, innit? Well seen I went to school in Glasgow. Author stuff and advice and tips. That's my knowledge ended there. But I'll hold on easy for a wee second or two after we come off. So thanks very much to Rachel, Nikki and Gemma. And I'm glad they're feeling so much better after last night's shenanigans, shall we say. I must say,
I found my second win now. Let's we go back out. I've picked right up. Eric Dog, are we on for it?
We are not.
No way.
See that again, Rachel? Eric Dog. I'll try.
Eric Dog.
Eric Dog.
Eric
What makes
Dog.
you bad? Yeah, what makes you bad makes you better.
Eric Dog. That sounds like Eric Dog. Eric Dog. Can you do it?
I'm trying to sound more Yorkshire. Eric dog, innit? I know. Nah, still not right, Yorkshire. I give up. Be right.
Get that down your lash. You'll feel so much better. I don't know what accent that is. I don't have a clue. I know it's UK anyway. So thanks very much to the girls and to Mr. Mike as well. Mr. Mike is coming
We
back.
love you, Mike. We love you.
Everybody loves Mike. Everybody loves Mike.
Did you just say thank you?
Yeah.
Don't return it though, will you? Don't be like, do you know what? Look at you two. Don't return it.
Like, yeah, thanks.
But if you've spoilt the moment now, Mike, goodbye.
Some new girl earlier.
You still love each other. That's the main thing. That's the main thing. So we'll wind up here tonight, folks. Thanks everybody for coming in. And I say we do have Mike back. I don't know if we've arranged a date yet, have we? Maybe well, for HH, second part of Ripper HH Homes / kind of thing. But we'll post it when that's coming on. So that's us for tonight. We're back on tomorrow night with Barry John, medium. So we'll be having a wee chat with Barry, getting to know him and the usual shenanigans. So thanks everyone for coming in and enjoy the rest of your evening and stay safe. And we'll see you later. Take care. Bye.
Bye.